Siri berlipat, siri pinang, siri dari Pulau Mutiara. Humanis kata selamat datang, awal bismillah, pembuka bicara. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera, salam UiTM di hatiku. Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are from DBSD Business Administration Faculty. This press conference is a part of our group assessment for the course MKT 310, Principle of Public Relations, with our topic is improve vaccination awareness among the public. Therefore, the press conference is running live and is being recorded for the purpose for our lecturer evaluation. First of all, we would like to express our gratitude and appreciation to the audience who attend our press conference today. Before we begin these presentations, first of all, my name is Nur Aisyah Hidayah, the operating moderator for today's program. We'll now introduce our company and brief about today's program. Our company is Medicovid Corporation. Medicovid Corporation is a health and medical welfare charity that established since 2019. Our vision is we would like to be the first choice of the NGO health and medicine in Malaysia in the coming years. We consist of 5 members in this company. This program is divided into 2 slots. The first slot is whereby speakers will present the topic to the audience regarding how to improve vaccination awareness among the public. The next slot is the final slot, will be conducted at the end of the talk during that season, which act to a Q&A season. We will be taking 5 or more questions from the audience for us to answer. So, if the audience would like to question us, please write down your question down in the comment sections below or switch on your camera and microphone so we can identify. Okay, let's move on. The COVID-19 pandemic is part of being ongoing worldwide pandemic of coronavirus disease 2019 caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. The first case in Malaysia, as you can see, the first case in Malaysia was confirmed on 25 January 2020 involving tourists from China arriving in Johor. The large cluster at the end was associated with the public congregational religion gathering held in Sri Petaling, Kuala Lumpur at the end of February and early March. By the end of the March, the cumulative number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 infections in the country had increased from under 30 to 2,000 cases and has been reported in every state and federal authority in the country. The Malaysian government, led by Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, has implemented the Movement Control Order, PKP, which is planned to take effect from 80 to 31 March 2020 nationwide. Have been a decline in daily infection case. A gradual easing of restriction was implemented. First, with the Condition Movement Control Order, just PKPB, on 4 May 2020, which allow mass business sections to be open under strict standard operating procedure, SOP, followed by Rehabilitation Movement Control Order, PKPP, from 10 June 2020. The third wave of COVID-19 infection occurred after the Sabah state elections in September 2020. Due to the deteriorating national health system due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has started since February 24, 2021 after the government's successful supply of COVID-19 vaccine. Until now, the 5,254 deaths and 66,000 cases are still active. COVID-19 affect different people in different way. Most infected people will develop mild to moderate illness and recover without hospitalization. Symptom COVID-19 are divided into 3 points, which is most common symptom, less common symptom, and serious symptom. Among the most common symptom is fever, chills, cough, and fatigue. While less common symptom is aches, sore throat, headache, and the last is loss of taste and smell. Lastly are the serious symptom. The serious symptoms is like shortness of breath, difficult shortness of breath, and the last is difficulty in breathing. That's all from me. The following is how COVID-19 begins and its symptoms. Let's move on to the second speaker, which is Julia Hamza. She will give and talk about the vaccine and how does vaccine work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the moderator, Aisha. Okay, hi, I am Julia. I'm the first speaker for this press conference. Okay, let me explain first. After Malaysia in the third wave, the national COVID-19 immunization program in Malaysia also started on 24 February 2021 after the government managed to obtain supplies of COVID-19 from several pharmacy companies. Okay. The program is expected to be conducted in phase until February 2022 to achieve group immunity among the people in an effort to spread of COVID-19 in our country. By yearly March 2021, all states and federal in the country had already terminated the PKP and switched to PKPB and PKPP. Since mid-April 2021, PKP has been enforced again by the government in several states with a resurgence in the number of daily infection cases. With the detection of several variants of SARS-CoV-2 from abroad of concern in Malaysia, coupled with the drastic surge in the number of cases COVID-19 infection and daily death. Finally, the government reintroduced PKP nationwide starting 12 May 2021. Okay, what is vaccine? A vaccine is a biological preparation that provides active acquired immunity to a particular infectious disease. It helped almost exterminate such disease as measles, smallpox, whooping cough, diphtheria, and kill millions of people in the past. So how do vaccine works? Vaccine create immunity in the body, and in the body, vaccine also helps this process by containing parts of the antigens that are weak enough to not infect you but are still strong enough to elicit an immune response. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Julia. Next, we proceed to the next speaker, Fatin Chaira.
Okay, hi. Thank you to the moderator, Aisha. Okay, I will explain about why vaccine is important. Okay, basically there are three reasons why vaccine is important, and each reason is related to one another. Okay, the first one is to protect ourselves, family, and community around us. The second is to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus, and the last one is to allow life, social, and economic activities to return back to normal. Okay. you guys must be thinking right. How by getting vaccinated can help us in protecting ourselves, family, and community around us. Okay. Vaccine. Okay. Let's assume this is vaccine. Okay. Okay. Vaccine help in strengthen our immune system in the body to fight against the COVID-19 virus. Okay. When an individual receive the vaccine, it will boost up the immune system. Okay, so it means that he has protected himself from getting the viruses from the person surrounding him uh, who has yet to receive the vaccine's injection. Okay, therefore, it helps to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus. So I did explain the 2 points there. So the last point is to allow life, social and economic activities to return back to normal. Okay, Malaysia is targeting to get vaccinated 80% of its population by the end of February 2022. Okay, if 80% of Malaysia population has been vaccinated, all the markets can open. I mean, the businesses can operate their business like usual. We can move around without wearing masks. We can move around without carrying any hand sanitizer. We can visit our parents, grandparents, and so on. Okay. Now I will move to what types of vaccines are available. Okay. Around the world, there are about 6 vaccines that are available in the whole world. Okay. But in Malaysia, we are only have 3. It is Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Sinovac. Okay. For Pfizer, it is produced by United States and it has 95% of effectiveness rate. Okay. Malaysia has received 4.08 million doses as of 21st June. And okay, second one is AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca is produced by United Kingdom. It has 62 to 90% of effectiveness rate. Okay, Malaysia has received 828,000 doses. And the last one is Sinovac. Sinovac is produced by China. It has 50.4% to 91.25% effectiveness rate. Malaysia has received 3.69 million doses. All these 3 vaccines, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Sinovac, must be administered or must be taken in 2 doses. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right. Wow, it's so interesting. Thank you, Fatin Shaira. Hopefully, what Fatin Shaira share about the importance of vaccines will attract all of audience to know how the vaccine is very important. Okay, without wasting the time, we proceed to our next speaker with Melissa Marius.
Okay. First of all, good evening, everyone. I'm Melissa. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. So to begin, let me start by talking about the gap between first and second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Vaccines that require 2 doses, each individual will get a vaccines that of the same type, and the durations of the time to receiving the second vaccines is depend on the type of vaccines. So, for example, the time interval between the first dose and second dose is Pfizer vaccines in 21 days, AstraZeneca vaccines in 28 days, and Sinovac vaccines in 14 days. Okay, next slide. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, the next slide is about who is eligible to receive the vaccine. So, all eligible Malaysians over the age of 18 can receive the vaccine. Priority is given to frontliner personnel, those at high risk of getting COVID-19 infections, such as the elderly, patients with medical problem, for example, like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, high pressure, asthma, and so on. So those were eligible to receive the vaccinations are encouraged to register my Sejahtera because it is very important to ensure that Malaysian achieve the target of forming group immunity. So that's all for my part. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Melissa Marius. We proceed to our last speaker, with Wendy, and who will he, and he will be talking about registration of vaccinations.
Hello everyone, I am Wendy Kuliting and will be presenting how to register for vaccination. I think most of you must have been wondering, right, how to sign up for the vaccine. Well, don't worry, I will assist you. There are 4 easy ways to register for the COVID-19 vaccine in Malaysia. The first step is to download My Sejahtera application and register the vaccine in the online form. Make sure your apps is updated to the latest version. You will only be required to enter your personal detail, for example, your name, identity card, phone number, and remember to fill up a form with 4 simple yes and no questions. It doesn't take a long time to register. If it has been approved, you'll be notified when the next phase of vaccinations begin. The details about the vaccination center and the dates assigned will be sent to you via the MySejahtera apps, phone calls, or text. After all, make sure you go to the nearest hospital or clinic on the scheduled day to ensure a smooth vaccine administration. The second option is to use the official website vaccinecovid.gov.my. You just have to click register now to complete your registration and you will receive confirmation within 24 hours if your registration goes through successfully. The third platform is to register by hotline. If any of you want to register or seek for advice, all you need to do is to call the health center with a hotline number of 1-800-888-828 and they will guide you. To those who can't make a registration through these 3 platforms, you can do manual registration at hospital or clinic. Now you can follow 4 simple steps to register for vaccine. Next, for the conclusion. So after hearing this press conference, are you more aware of the severity of the virus? Are you willing to be vaccinated? Well, I hope you get something from this event. Since we have been at the end of the talk, I just want to remind everyone you don't have to worry or skeptical whether or not to take the vaccine. All of the vaccines given out are completely staffed and certified by World Health Organization, WHO. Several trials have been conducted until it has been available to the general public. I have also signed up for the vaccination. So let's make a change, commitment, and grab this opportunity to make things happen. Invite and bring your family members, friends, and relatives to get the vaccine. Share the benefit of vaccination to everyone and show them you are concerned for their health. It will surely protect ourselves and our loved one. Another way you can do is to increase the vaccination rate for our country is by posting your picture on social media after getting vaccination. This will ensure everyone to not afraid to take vaccine. I am confident that it is the best and effective way to promote and share awareness in today's society. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Wendy. Yes, I'm so agree with you. So there are so many ways have been provided by the government. So there was no longer reason for people not to be able to registration the vaccination. All right, thank you for Wendy. Okay, now let's move on to our next slot, which is the questions and answer season. If you have any questions, you all can drop your questions on the comment space, or you can open the mic and camera, introduce yourself and ask you questions. Thank you. Okay, now is the slot of question and answer. If you have any questions, you can ask me and our speakers. Thank you. All right. We have a question from Big Panda. The question is, how do we dispel the misconceptions about vaccine that makes so many people stubborn to take the jab? Okay. About these questions, the speakers, do you have any answer for these questions? Okay. All right. I will answer the questions from Big Panda. How do we dispel the misconception about vaccine that makes so many people stubborn to take the job? In my opinion, wait, siapa?
Can I answer Big Panda question?
You can.
Okay. Okay. The question is, how do we dispel the misconception about vaccines that make so many people stubborn to take the jab? Okay. Uh, Everyone, Malaysian, need to find the right sources. Okay. We need to browse the sources, the right sources. We can browse KKM media social. You do, we can rely on we can rely on the rumors that circulating in media social, because we don't even know is it the right source or not. It's just the rumors. It's just the concept of others. It's not the right thing. Yes, I think that's answer your question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the Fatin. Big Panda, are you questions? All right. Thank you. Okay, we move to the next questions from the Sabrina Muhammad Amin. I have a question for Julia. Julia, macam mana kita mau cegah rumor yang berada di media sosial?
Oke, terima kasih kepada Sabrina Muhammad Amin atas soalan yang diberikan. Macam mana kita mau cegah rumor yang beredar di media sosial ini adalah dengan menapis semua berita-berita atau artikel-artikel yang berkaitan dengan anti vaksin nih. Sebab ramai masyarakat kita nih, terutamanya yang macam golongan tua, mudah terpengaruh dengan apa yang mereka baca di sosial media. Sebagai contoh, mereka mengaitkan vaksin nih, coronavirus nih berkait rapat dengan konspirasi Dajjal macam tu. So, cara kita untuk mengelakkan macam rumor ni semakin berleluasa, kita boleh macam menambah lebih banyak pengetahuan, kita lebih menyebarkan lebih banyak pengetahuan berkaitan vaksinasi ni kepada golongan-golongan tersebutlah. Kita lebih banyak macam buat post di sosial media tu apa kebaikan vaksin dan apa yang berlaku kalau kita tidak mengambil vaksin. Seperti itu. Itu adalah pendapat pribadi saya lah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, alright. Thank you for Julia. Okay, we move to the next questions, which is from Izatul Hasana. Okay, soalan dia, seperti yang kita tahu vaksin ni ada 2 dos. Kalau someone tu sudah ambil dos pertama tapi belum selesai ke dos kedua, kemungkinan jangkitan COVID tu ada lagi kah? Itu soalan dia. Ada sesiapa mau jawab kah? Dia ada?
Hai, Fatin nak cuba? Okay.
Cuba.
Okay, terima kasih Zatul untuk soalan tu. Okay, vaksin ni dia bukan buang semua kemungkinan kebarangkalian untuk tak dapat langsung COVID tu tau. Dia macam mengurangkan sahaja dia punya simptom. Contohnya lah, kalau kita dapat COVID, contohnya kita sesak nafas contohnya. Tapi mungkin kalau kita vaksin, dia bukan sesak nafas, dia macam hanya demam, sesama macam tu. Saya harap tu menjawablah soalan satu tu. Terima kasih.
Alright, thank you, Fatin. Okay, seterusnya soalan dari Pretty Monster Not Yours. Okay. What are some of common side effect of the COVID-19 vaccine? Okay. About this soalan, about this question, ada yang mau jawab? Ali speaker. Okay, let me answer this question. As we all know, saya jawab dalam Melayu boleh kan? Okay, dia begini. Apa side effect bila kita sudah ambil ni COVID-19? Vaksin COVID-19. Antaranya yang seperti yang saya sudah bentangkan sebentar tadi, antara simptom-simptom dia terbagi kepada 3, iaitu dia terbagi kepada 3, iaitu yang pertama common symptom, less common symptom dengan serious symptoms. Antaranya side effect kemungkinan merasa sakit sendi, contoh sakit tulang kah, demam, badan terasa lesu, sakit kepala, yang gitu-gitu Syah. Alright, thank you.
Hi, I want to ask, is it
Okay.
compulsory to take the vaccine?
I will answer to your question. It is no. You will not be forced to take the vaccine if you don't want to. Although it is encouraged in order to help our nation to achieve herd immunity.
Alright, thank you, Wendy. Hopefully this question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Farah Devi. Okay, next on the questions. Let's move on to the question on the comment from Muhammad Fikri Lukman bin Sudin, Moe. Question for Aisha, for me. Apa kelebihan bila ambil vaksin? Okay. Terima kasih Muhammad Fikri Lukman bin Sudin, Moe. Antara kelebihan bila sudah ambil vaksin ni, salah satunya kita terimunisasi lah Pak. Terimunisasi, and then kita bukan tidak dijangkiti, tapi kita kemungkinan kurang dijangkiti oleh penyakit-penyakit seperti penyakit coronavirus ni. And then selain daripada itu, kelebihan bila kita ambil vaksin ni, kita boleh membantu dalam peningkatan ekonomi akan datang, di mana kes kemungkinan kurang berlaku ataupun tidak berlaku sudah, insyaAllah. And then selain daripada kelebihan-kelebihan begitu, antara kelebihan yang ini berdasarkan pendapat saya, contoh dia, kerajaan kan telah menjanjikan banyak perkara kalau kita ambil vaksin. Antaranya, kalau sudah ambil vaksin, kononnya kita boleh melancong pergi Pulau Langkawi, pergi lagi-lagi pasal solat Jumaat. Kononnya bila kita sudah ambil vaksin baru kita boleh sembahyang Jumaat sudah. Begitu. Okay? Soalan terjawab ke Muhammad Fikri Luqman bin Sudin? Okay, sama-sama. Okay, kita ada beberapa minit lagi, so kita akan jawab beberapa soalan lagi daripada komen ni. Soalan daripada ni, Muhammad Asri bin Mansur. Okay, Asri, adakah bayi, soalan dia, adakah bayi yang baru lahir perlu divaksin? Ahli speaker ada yang mau jawab?
Okey, saya cuba jawab. Terima kasih untuk Muhammad Asri. Apakah bayi yang baru lahir perlu divaksin? Seperti yang kita ketahui sebelum munculnya wabak penyakit COVID ni, bayi ni memang ada kena vaksin untuk imunisasi untuk bayi. Tapi untuk vaksin ni, saya rasa bayi pun perlu divaksin sebab bayi ni antibody dorang masih lemah kan, so mereka ni adalah golongan yang wajib mendapat vaksin ni sebab mereka ni lebih mudah dijangkiti berbanding kita yang golongan dewasa ni, antibody kita lebih kuat berbanding bayi. Seperti juga dengan orang yang lanjut usia, antibody dorang sudah mula menurun dan lemah. Itulah, bayi yang baru lahir ni patut mendapatkan vaksin, antara golongan yang wajib mendapatkan vaksin. Okey, itu saja, semoga terjawab.
Okey, Asri, adakah soalan anda terjawab? Okey, kita
thank you.
Okey, terima kasih. Kita teruskan dengan soalan seterusnya daripada Amni Arina. Adakah dengan pengambilan suplemen seperti vitamin C boleh mencegah COVID? Okey. Ada yang mau jawab? Melissa boleh mau try jawab soalan daripada Amni Arina?
Okay, boleh saya cubalah. Okay, bagi saya suplemen vitamin apa? Kejap ya, saya tengok balik. Vitamin C. Okay, vitamin C. Bagi saya tidak dapat untuk mencegah ini COVID-19 sebab dia bukannya vaksin yang kita kena ambil. Jadi bagi saya vitamin itu hanyalah untuk mencantikkan kulit gitu kan. Jadi dia bukannya untuk mencegah COVID-19. Macam boleh paham?
Itu je.
Yep.
Okey, terima kasih Melissa. Okey, saya pun mau jawab soalan daripada Amni Arina ni. Adakah pengambilan suplemen seperti vitamin C boleh mencegah? Actually dia boleh juga mencegah tapi tidak sihat sepenuhnya lah. Maksudnya kita kena bergantung saja dengan vitamin C tu. Bila habis vitamin C tu kita kena minum lagi, beli lagi. Dia berbeza dengan vaksin. Okey.
Oke, betulkah vitamin C
Kenapa tu? Julia. Kenapa tu ada apa tu? Oh, Julia. Siapa? Dia terkeluar daripada meeting. Sebentar, okey. Okey, Julia. Okey. Okey, Julia boleh teruskan.
Oke, sorry, double mic tadi. Oke, vitamin C ini dia tidak boleh membantu sepenuhnya untuk mencegah COVID-19, tapi vitamin C ini boleh diambil sebagai salah satu ikhtiar sebab kita tahu bahwa vitamin C ini dia menguatkan antibodi tapi tidak sepenuhnya untuk mencegah COVID-19. Ini adalah salah satu ikhtiar saja. Oke. Saya harap dapat menjawab.
Okey, soalan terjawab kah? Siapa tu? Amni Arina. Okey, kita tanpa melengahkan masa, kita teruskan daripada soalan Muhammad Fikri Lukman bin Sudin Moin. Soalan yang ke berapa ni? 2, 3. Okey, selain vaksin ada cara lain kah untuk mengurangkan penularan COVID? Okey. Basically banyak cara dia, antaranya seperti SOP. Itulah SOP, kalau keluar dari rumah pakai mask, guna hand sanitizer, dan banyak lagi lah. Okay, ada penambahan jawapan daripada ahli speaker. Ya dah?
Ya dah, sudah.
Okey, kita teruskan dengan soalan. Astagfirullah. Okey, Big Panda lagi tanya soalan. Untuk jangka masa panjang, sebagai seorang pemimpin, bagaimanakah kita menambah baik pemberian vaksin agar sekiranya wujud virus yang baru atau mutasi COVID-19 yang baru, pemberian vaksin akan berjalan dengan tepat dan efektif? Apa soalan dia? Sekejap. Untuk jangka masa panjang sebagai seorang pemimpin, bagaimanakah kita menambah baik pemberian vaksin agar sekiranya wujudnya virus yang baru atau mutasi COVID-19 yang baru, pemberian vaksin dan berjalan dengan tepat dan efektif? Okey, ada jawapan dari ahli speaker. Soalannya terlalu macam tinggi. Jadi yang lain boleh dapat jawab kah?
Okey. Okey, bagaimanakah kita menambah baik pemberian vaksin agar sekiranya wujudnya virus yang baru? Okey. Sekarang ni kalau semua perasan, kita ada MySejahtera Apps dengan, untuk daftar vaksin ada MySejahtera Apps dengan lagi satu untuk AstraZeneca tu, yang website tu. So, dia ramai orang tertanya kenapa ada dua apps tu? Kenapa dah daftar dah daftar vaksin dekat MySejahtera tapi still kena daftar lagi untuk lagi satu vaksin AZ tu dekat website yang lain. So saya rasa kalau nak mempercepatkan pemberian vaksin ni kita kena guna satu apps yang boleh digunakan oleh semua negeri mana pun macam tu untuk vaksin apa-apa pun. Okay. Saya harap itu membantulah menjawab soalan. Terima kasih.
Okay. Soalan terjawab ke Muhammad? Abang apa? Abang Panda? Big Panda. Okay, seterusnya soalan dari Muhammad Aidil. Kalau seseorang sudah dapat vaksin dos kedua, dia tidak berkemungkinan lagi kah untuk dapat wabak COVID-19 ni? Okay. Siapa explain tentang vaksin tadi? Melissa boleh jawab?
Okay.
Julia.
Okay, saya cuba jawab. Terima kasih Muhammad Aidil. Kalau seseorang sudah dapat 2 dos vaksin, dia tidak berkemungkinan untuk dapat wabak. Vaksin ni pencegahan. Tapi kita tengok di Malaysia sekarang ni untuk peratus dia sangat rendah yang menerima vaksin. Bayangkan kalau kita ni sebagai yang sudah menerima 2 dos vaksin tapi kita masih macam tidak menjaga jarak ataupun SOP, kita ada kemungkinan untuk terjangkiti kembali dengan virus tu jika kita tidak menjaga SOP itulah. Fahamkah maksud saya?
Faham,
Dia
speaker.
ada kemungkinan. Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih atas penjelasannya.
Alright. Okay, terima kasih Julia kerana menjawab soalan dari Fahmi. Okay, menangkan jam menunjukkan jam 5, kita saya tidak akan baca semua soalan, saya akan ambil beberapa soalan yang boleh dijawab. Okay, ada soalan untuk saya. Dia bilang, kalau ndak ambil vaksin apalah jadi, dia bilang. Okay. Pada pendapat saya, ini in my opinion, bila kita ndak ambil vaksin ni, salah satu, kalau bagi saya lah, kita rugi. Kenapa rugi? Sebab kemungkinan vaksin ni pada tahun-tahun akan datang kemungkinan kena bayar sudah. Sekarang ni dia sekarang kerajaan bagi dengan percuma. Jadi inilah peluang kita untuk ambil vaksin itu secara percuma. And then lagipun siapa ndak mau barang percuma kan? Gitu. Lepas tu kejap sorry. Okay, maafkan saya. Ini bukan simptom-simptom COVID, okay? Ini sakit tekak saja. And then selain daripada kita rugi, kita kemungkinan mudah dijangkiti penyakit-penyakit. Lagi-lagi penyakit coronavirus ni. Okay, itu saja jawapan daripada saya. Maaf. Sorry. Okay, kami try jawab soalan daripada Joyce Valentin John. Can both of the vaccine dose be of a different brand? Or if I have complete both dose, can I still get another vaccine from another brand to ensure more protection? Ada yang ahli speaker boleh jawab?
Okay, I will answer to Joyce Valentine John question. So, as you know, all vaccine requiring 2 doses and should be complete using the same brand. There is no data at this time to support switching vaccines between dose 1 and dose 2, and except for various medical condition, and it is therefore not advisable to do so. There is also no recommendation at this time for someone who has completed 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine to get further vaccinated with another brand of COVID-19 vaccine. And if you have previously taken a vaccine that is not approved under the Ministry of Health, you are advisable to take 2 doses of the approved ones. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Wendy. Hopefully, the question from Joyce dapat terjawab. Okay, jam menunjukkan 5 minit. Jadi saya akan ambil soalan yang terakhir. By the way, terima kasih kepada audience. Suruh saya minum air, thank you. Okay, the last question from Muhammad Asri bin Mansur. Aisyah, bagaimana dengan orang yang mengalami alahan? Bolehkah mereka mengambil vaksin? Okay. Sekejap. Okay, Asri, soalan dia, bagaimana dengan orang yang mengalami alahan? Bolehkah mereka mengambil vaksin? Basically, sebelum ambil vaksin ni, kita kena buat medical check up dulu untuk cek sama ada kita ada alahan ataupun penyakit. Contoh alahan, macam saya sendiri, saya ada resdung adalah ke tahap yang terlampau kritikal begitu. And then saya ada alergi, jadi saya dah tanya, sorry. Bolehkah orang mengambil vaksin? Actually, orang boleh ambil, tapi orang kena dengar nasihat daripada doktor dulu sebelum ambil vaksin tu. Sama ada orang layak ambil vaksin ni ataupun tidak. Itu kita kena tanya doktor, Asri. Terima kasih. By the way, ahli speaker kalau ada tambahan untuk soalan ni boleh jawab, okay? Okay. Tiada tambahan jawapan. Ahli speaker tiada tambahan jawapan ke?
Tiada, ma'am.
Okay. Izinkan saya minum air sekejap, okay? Bolehkah?
Oke, terima kasih yang masih stay di press conference kami. Oke, setelah kamu ikut yang apa yang kami cakap nih, oke, saya mengalu-ngalukanlah kamu untuk macam menyebarkan apa kepentingan vaksinasi nih kepada semua golongan, terutamanya golongan anti vaksin yang terlampau percaya vaksin ini berkait rapat dengan konspirasi. Oke, gini, orang Malaysia nih, dia nih senang terpengaruh. Macam contoh, kamu ada founder jual produk pemutih, dorang nggak tahu pun kandungannya apa, kandungan produk tuh apa, macam ada merkuri kah atau ada bahan produk yang berbahaya, tapi mereka tetap coba untuk putih, tapi kenapa untuk vaksin ini dorang sangat menentang. Padahal bagi saya bahaya lagi produk yang bermerkuri itu daripada pengambilan vaksin nih. Oke, itu jelas daripada saya. Terima kasih semua yang ikut hari ini.
Alright, thank you Julia. So, any speaker sebelum kita menamatkan sesi sidang media, ada apa-apa pesanan ataupun luahan? Ada atau tiada? Alright. Last but not least, the press conference today is finally come to the end. Thank you for all of the speaker and all audience. See you soon and far away. Stay safe, healthy, and always happy. Mudah diungkap, santun bicara, pantun dilantun, mengusik hati. Salah dan silap, tutur bicara, mohon diampun, seikhlas hati. Thank you very much. See you again.